So this is me showing the inking process, and I got some other videos coming up doing the same thing, but when it comes to doing the inking process, which is really just putting final lines on the iPad, so it's not really inking, that's just language. Always got to specify, because I know there are those people who are out there and be like, actually, that's the like downside of the nerd community. It's like you got these super serious nerds who kind of take it too seriously, and they'll come behind you and they got all the crazy logic in the world of this and that, and we're just having fun here, so it ain't that serious. But I keep going back and forth between screen recording on the iPad and then recording it, where you can see my hands with the phone. And so I did a couple screen records, and now I'm doing this with the phone. And so I'm just going back and forth. And a lot of times, the way I decide this is really by convenience. But then also, I am like keeping an eye on the metrics and just see what people enjoy more, and try to commit to that. I know it's leaning towards just recording on the phone. Well, let me promote myself. Links in the bio. If you want to get the books, volumes 1, 2, and 3 are available on Amazon. Just click the link. It's only $10. Also, like, subscribe, comment, share, much appreciated. I'm not going to say that that's needed for me to continue. I'm going to do this anyway, but much appreciated. I've been getting a lot of love and support on this page since I've been gaining traction, and I appreciate all of it, I promise you. So let's keep it going. I guess I can say it does keep it going as far as, the engagement gives me motivation to continue doing the videos. Artists are fickle creatures, so sometimes we need that. Look, I'm kind of messed up because let me do this and let me put that on there. Usually go here first, and I got the different brushes over here, and everything's set to the size that I need it to be for it to do what I need it to do. I can't say this enough. The worst thing is to not put the layers on, and I'm gonna forget to add a layer and start putting the lines right on top of the sketch layer. And man, God forbid you don't pay attention to that and you get close to the end of your art. It's very few people understand that anger. Now, to talk about my process a little bit more is, so I got the brushes I like to ink with and do other things. I like to ink with the G pen right here, but I got it several places in different like widths. So with the thickest width I got, I like to just do the outline first, and then I'll go in with detail. So I'll put the outline on things that I kind of like highlighted in the picture. And these are aspects you want in the foreground. And so like if I'm gonna leave this space back there because that's how I want it. But if I had things in the background, I wouldn't use this level of thickness. I would go down, because right now I got this on 20 pixels for the brush thickness. I would probably go down to 10. And then I got 2 more that's thinner. I got 5 and I got 3. I barely use the 3, but sometimes I get in close, put in some details, whatever. And so right now, just do like character outline. Let me see. And it's crazy, like this background piece is in the foreground, but I don't know if I want to, like this cross, I guess I got to hit it with the bigger brush, but I might hit this, I guess it is in the foreground, so I got to hit it with the bigger brush and really bring it forth. But then I kind of want to separate it from this. Yeah, I want that to pop, so I'm not going to do that. And so it took me a long time to develop a clean style that's not so sketchy. But even with working in DaMaddKing with the iPad, you don't get a lot of like super clean lines. There's some squiggly situation going on, but I'm kind of working my style to take advantage of that, make it more loose, cartoony style, and do it like that. Like that's mad squiggly right there, but I think we're gonna let it slide. Now, where I will keep the thicker brushes doing this, because I want this to be more shaded in black. So another plug is I plug the book, check the description, like, subscribe, comment, share the videos for me, please, so I get some exposure. But I want to give my plug to DaMaddKing. DaMaddKing, you're listening, sponsor your boy. Because I'm probably the only person who's really repping using your program to create all their books. I don't know, DaMaddKing just works for me. Like, I tried it on Photoshop. Photoshop is just too much. And then I guess Clip Studio was in between DaMaddKing and Photoshop. But Clips and Photoshop is kind of like, especially Photoshop, you need to go to school if you want to get the most out of Photoshop. And this is literally what they do. And I confirmed this with graphic design students at major universities. The entire 4 years of graphic design is basically them teaching you all the ins and outs of the Adobe suite. And so that's Photoshop, Illustrator, InDesign, all those things. That's basically what you're learning. You're not. And so you got to come in there with your own sense of art skills and design. And then they just teach you the Adobe suites because that's what all the professionals use. Now, Clip Studio isn't as difficult, but there's still a learning curve. And I was attempting to go from DaMaddKing to Clip Studio because it feels like you get more control and it's more like drawing on paper. But I was being lazy and I didn't feel like learning. And some of the controls in relation to DaMaddKing, I didn't like how you got effects. Like, I do a lot of speed line effects through DaMaddKing, and the way it works, where they give the option, you hit a singular point of focus, you just press it, and then you take the brush and you just go around or highlight where you want the speed lines to come to. And it's just very simple. Whereas in Clip Studio, it don't work that way. It's very different, and I thought it was more difficult. It didn't make sense to me. So that kind of turned me off at that moment because I'm a real. Because in neither scenario, excuse me, because actually what I like to do is speed lines by hand. I love doing that. Like, if I was working on bristle board, doing my comic stuff real traditional way, even without a ruler, I'll be doing my speed lines by hand, and I practiced that over the years, and I'm really good at it. But there's this, when it comes to drawing on an iPad and working on the digital, there's this lag that's just like, and maybe it's the aspect of drawing on a smooth screen. Maybe if I got like one of those screen protectors that were like matte, so that it was like the, paper texture, one of those type of situations. I heard about those. I want to try it out. One day I will. Maybe I should just order one right now and put it on the iPad and see if that changes anything. But right now, yeah, I'm just working with this. And I talked about this in the past. This is a galley, mask off. He's got the shovel. See all these crosses in the ground because he buries his enemies after he's dealt with them. Or even if he didn't deal with them personally, if he feels responsible for how they were dealt. Then he's gonna do the whole burial rites thing. Okay, this is a little thin, but I'm still gonna go with it. Maybe I can make it thick in places like that. I don't want it too thick. I don't want it to be as thick as this. And see, I don't know, I like this barrier around the images because I love the idea of a frame. And I spoke about this before too, but I got the idea from when they changed the formatting for movies, when we went from the box screen to the wide screen, and that was kind of like in the era of moving from film into the digital age when it came to making movies, and they started doing the idea of the wide screen lens, and that's when TVs changed from boxes to these wide body flat screen situations. And so when they, in the midst of going to widescreen, because they went to widescreen before they went to the flat screen, on your box TV, the image will be framed in black. And I don't know, to me, it created a hyper focus on the scene. And I really enjoyed that. And so I started doing this frame around my comics. Another thing that led to this was when I initially published Chain Gun with a publisher, and they were doing the whole formatting, they reduced the image and it kind of left this empty space around, and then the panels were kind of centered in the page, and I didn't like the way that looked, so I started putting the black frame around, and it really focused. So that's my reasoning for that. It's funny, like I was drawing digitally and then I went back to traditional work, and I found myself, because I got a habit of doing this, zooming in and out. So I'm working on regular paper, and then I would hit the paper like that, expecting it to zoom in. I was like, oh, it's not working. I'm like, this is a bad habit. So it would just trip me out how I would still have that instinct. Like, oh, I can zoom in versus putting my face closer to the paper to get in for those tiny details. If I had to choose, I prefer traditional work because I feel like I got more control over the pen or the pencil, and I produce my best work that way. But I'm working digitally because it's more convenient right now to do so.
Is there any TVs in here?
Nope. They're gone. Like I said, I'm at work, so as recording work intervenes. Yeah, so I prefer Medibang. It's the interface is more accessible. Like, you don't need a class. You can learn as you go. Everything's right there for you. Especially if you like drawing by hand and you're not slave to shortcuts and tools. You could just go right in there and do your thing. And so that's what I like about it. Because I don't use a lot of shortcuts and tools. It's just certain things. Well, if I find a lack of capability, then I'll try to find a tool to compensate, like with the speed lines or cross hatching. It's kind of like I said, a lack of capability. Then they got a tool to compensate, and I use it. Oops, I don't like that. Don't like that either. I'm not gonna save the face for last. I'm gonna get in there. Let me get in there. And so we're in chapter 4. And this is kind of like the first time you kind of get a look at his face without the mask. And then you probably won't get a glimpse again. Because when I first did the series, he didn't even have the whole mask situation. But I put it in there. I don't know, because it felt like it was missing something. And as a kid, I was always a huge fan of Zorro and the Lone Ranger, stuff like that. So I opted to put it in, and I think aesthetically it works. Still, even to this point, to this day, I'm trying to devise for a reason why he even wears it. But I think I kind of got it figured out as far as who the character is, the era he lives in, his struggles with acceptance. because he's in hiding as an outlaw, but there's times he plays hero in the mask. Kinda gives him this option for this dual identity, even though for the people that's looking for him, they know who he is. But the character, being an ex-slave, has this issue with acceptance and being accepted. And the persona, the hero persona he takes on, kind of helps him hide. So, getting into the psychology of it. Let's see if I'm gonna even finish all this in this video. I think I can make this a long one. Kind of in the zone. And show everybody the entire process. Really just drawing is like not giving up. Going until you feel like it's finished. And knowing when to quit. And knowing when not to stop. Oops. Don't like that. Let's see. Okay, we can do that. I'll allow it. Oh, guess we're not gonna make it all the way through. This pencil finna die. It's always either iPad gonna die or the pencil gonna die. It's like, that's the struggles. Let's get the scars on there. A lot of times when drawing Galley the God, like, except for his like face scar, it's like I'm just drawing scars anywhere. So you might go from one panel to the next, like, hey, that scar moved from here to there, and it's like, it's just an expression. It's just to illustrate, oh, he's scarred up. Even though I am aware, okay, maybe this should stay there and blah, 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 whatever. I try to be as consistent as possible. But sometimes it's just hard to keep up with. And for the most part, it really don't matter. That's why you don't want too many of these scenes. Where you gotta show the scars. You wanna know how I got these scars? No, I don't. I don't care. Like, you should be more careful. I'm trying not to rush. And get as far along as I can. Oops. Don't like that. I'm probably gonna quit right here. I can pick up later. Well, ain't that much left. And you can see, this is where I am. Let's drop this. Like I said, we'll pick it up later and we'll go from there. Peace. Thanks for tuning in. Like and subscribe, comment, share. Check the description. Get the books.